Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story for today. I'm Faye Watt, and let's queer up politics. President Trump cancels June Pride Month and replaces it with Title IX Month. In a sweeping move that is already sparking national reaction, President Donald Trump's administration has officially announced that June will no longer be recognized as Pride Month. Instead, the U.S. Department of Education has rebranded it as Title IX Month. In a statement released on the first business day of June Pride Month, the department declared, quote, "The U.S. Department of Education today announced that it is recognizing June as Title IX Month in honor of the 53rd anniversary of Title IX of the educational amendments being signed into law. June will now be dedicated to commemorating women and celebrating their struggle for and achievement of equal educational opportunity," end quote. While Title IX prohibits sex-based discrimination in education, LGBTQ advocates are calling the shift a clear political signal, especially as the department begins its Title IX month with 2 new investigations into schools for allowing transgender women to access women-only spaces. In its social media post, the department said, quote, "This month will celebrate Title IX's 53rd anniversary and will take more action to protect women's hard-earned rights," end quote. Critics argue this marks a deliberate erasure of Pride Month, long celebrated as a time for queer visibility and rights. News outlets like The Hill noted the administration is working to undo Biden-era transgender protections. A Fox News report said, quote, "Department of Education labels June as Title IX Month in wake of trans athletes winning girls' competitions," end quote. Queer News Tonight has reached out to the Log Cabin Republicans for comment. The LGBTQ Republican organization has consistently argued that Trump is the most LGBTQ embracing president and administration in American history. As of this broadcast, we have not received any reply. As debates over gender identity, education, policy, and civil rights intensify, this move sends the most powerful message of the 21st century to reject June Pride and Stonewall recognition. Combined with the DOD move to remove Harvey Milk's name from an American warship seems to be a clear sign that the impending war on LGBTQ has begun. You know, folks, you don't honor women by erasing queer people. Let's start there, all right? Replacing Pride Month with Title IX Month while launching investigations into schools that support trans women is not about equality. It's a political stunt. Pride was born from protests, and moves like this remind us why we still march every June and throughout the year. You can rename a month if you want to, but you can't rewrite history, and you can't sure as hell can't cancel a whole freaking community.
I just find it interesting that in their same breath on their social, they're talking about erasing pride, but talking about struggle, or, erasing the Department of Education, but now dedicating a whole month to education. Like, make up your mind what you want to do. Mm-hmm. They're talking out of both sides of their mouth, but similar, yes, erasing anybody is not supporting or amplifying anybody else.
No.
And just to be clear, Donald Trump can say that he's canceling Pride Month all he wants to. That's maybe an official White House position, but every cultural group, community group that wants to celebrate Pride and advertise Pride, and every business that wants to do it, it's still Pride Month.
Yep.
No matter what he says or any politician says, because that's part of the, that's a holiday for the people, or, month. So don't pay any attention. If that's what Donald Trump wants to do, that's fine. You let him do that.
Yeah.
Also, we do have Women's Month. That's March, right? So that would be kind of the time if you wanted to be talking about these things. So obviously it's a political stunt, and you're trying to appeal to this base. Part of me does have to say, as a strategist, it is a good strategy on their part to try to figure out, how can I hate gay people and erase gay people and make it seem like I'm not actually just hating gay people.
How can I do that?
And so I'm sure it's not him, but somebody in his team was like, oh, great marketing idea. Let's kind of make this, we're protecting women. And, and there are a lot of people that have opinions about trans women in sports. So capitalizing on that kind of mob mentality and that hatred towards trans people and injecting it into this is, I hate to say it, but I do think it's probably going to be somewhat effective if we don't kind of portray the other side of it and what he's actually doing. So I'm glad that, we're talking about this and that we're exposing some of these people for what they're doing.
What they are.
Yeah.
But this is coming from somebody who doesn't respect or care for women, saying that he's trying to do this for women. It's so crazy. And people go, oh, wow, that's a great idea. No, he's an idiot.
Also, Pride Month isn't because the president said so. Pride Month is because on June of 1969, there was a riot near Stonewall called the Stonewall Riots.
Yeah.
That's why we had Pride Month, not because the president said so. Also, I've been rewatching this show. It's called Veep. It's about the idiocy of our government officials, and it used to be so fictitious and so comical. Rewatching that show, it's now so real, because hearing stories like this, you realize how stupid these government officials are, especially Trump. It is still fuck Donald Trump. I'm still booked all month. So whatever he got to say, I still got gigs all month. I don't even give a goddamn what that fool got to say.
Yeah.
You can still catch me at all these Pride events all this month. That doesn't change the Stonewall Riot of June of 1969.
Thank you very much. And I got to give a big shout out to our mayor in Miami-Dade County, Daniela Levine. I did the LGBTQ Advisory Board's Pride kickoff yesterday. It was an honor to host it with the mayor and all those folks. And they had backlash. They had people that were not going to let them raise the flag. And that's part of Pride Month, right? To raise that progressive flag, to see our flag up there next to the American flag, to get those chills. And they weren't going to allow that. And the mayor was like, hell no, 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 no. And she fought back and made it happen. You know, and we raised that flag yesterday.
And she made a public statement. I think she was like, Miami-Dade County will always be a home and a haven for gay people, trans, LGBTQ plus community. And she is a class act in every respect. But as far as what she has done for like our LGBTQ rights down here and being such an advocate, and she was in the Pride Parade in one of the cars.
Her daughter is a lesbian.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So, I mean, it's not something that she says every single time she gets on a podium, right? She supports us because she supports us. Yeah. And that means more than anything.
Y'all should write Daniela Levine up and tell her how much we support you. So she knows that, because sometimes the people who are doing the most, they need the support.
Yeah.
You know, so let's support
And
those
they need to know that we see them.
Yes.
Exactly.
You know,
we thank you.
And appreciate them.
And that is the big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight.